Hi everyone, welcome back to another seasonal inspirational YouTube hop, and today I am using this collection by Echo Park. I think it's called Fashionista, and I am using this sketch that is one of the sketches that you can use to win prizes. And if you like flip this layout and share your layout or take inspiration from any of the layouts that anybody in this hop does, I believe you can win a prize. So follow along. I believe Moira probably has a lot more information on it than I do, but I'm trying to decide here. I know that I plan on cutting this flower paper for the strips that go along the top and the bottom, and instead of cutting a full size sheet, I'm planning just to cut strips because I only have one sheet because I got the collection pack. I would not have enough to go across both pages because it'd have to be like 6.5, 8 inches. So I'm just going to cut strips. And I had a hard time cutting that pink paper, I will tell you, because the other side has like purses and makeup and bags all over, and I really wanted to use that for, you know, my pictures of my daughter, but I loved the pink, and so I went ahead and did it. Like I said, it was hard, but I did it. For the little scallop border that's on the sketch. Oh, and by the way, well, first I'll talk about the border. I just ordered this border punch recently from scrapbook.com. I love, love, love it. I will leave a link below if you are interested in this punch. It is a really good punch. It's super easy to line up, and it's really easy to punch it. And I love, it's kind of like a scalloped with little holes, and then it has hearts all along. And I thought that this punch would be perfect for this layout because the sketch does have like a scalloped tiny, it's a smaller border than this one's going to end up being on my layout, but again, the sketch is just there for inspiration, so you can feel free to make the sketch yours however you need to. And along with saying that, I am going to make the sketch into a 2-page. So instead of just doing 1 page, I'm doing it 2 pages. The other thing that I'm going to do that is like the sketch but kind of my own thing is I cut down, I'm doing 5 photos instead of 6 because I'm making it 2 pages, but that is because I have a I don't know if it's a 4x6, no, it's not a 4x6 card, but it was one of the ephemera pieces that says something really cute, and I thought it would be perfect to go with these photos. And so I actually took out one of my photos and I will scrapbook it on another page, and it's going to go in the place of my 6th photo, and I love how it turns out. And so what I was saying is that my photos are all going to be cut down to 3.5 by 5. I think the sketch calls for 3.5 by 5.5, but I believe I did 3.5 by 5, and I did that just to kind of make it a little smaller. There was a little bit of extra space in all the photos that didn't really need to be left on the photos, and it didn't really matter. And I knew that for whatever strip that I had go along the middle there, like this pink one, that I was going to need, I would only have 1 sheet, so I would have to keep that in mind to whatever size I made my photos. And it worked out really good. So you can see that border punch there and there's the back of that pink paper that I love that pattern paper, but I didn't save my paper. I have learned not to be a paper saver, and it's sometimes hard, like in this situation, but that's okay because I absolutely love how this layout turns out. I'm going to take a minute here, and I am going to use my T-square ruler, and I'm going to get everything on there as straight as I can. With this flower pattern paper, I put adhesive only on the top part, knowing that I wanted to tuck this border piece that I punched. I wanted to tuck it underneath it because I didn't want this huge, I cut it at 1 inch, but I didn't want this huge size of a border at the bottom. And so I was aware of that, and I did only add adhesive to the top half of that one flower piece. So the only thing I think I might have changed at this point would be I cut that top flower border at 2 inches, and I kind of, at this point I was like, oh, that kind of looks really big, but I had already glued it down and I didn't really want to pull it up, and I'd already cut the pieces and I didn't want to waste the paper, so I'm going to leave it there. And like I said, I love how this layout comes out, so I'm super happy in the end. So here's another one of those strips. You will see I just added adhesive to one side, which is the top edge, which is kind of the bottom, the way I have my layout up in the screen right now, but That way you can see here I'm tucking this border piece underneath, and I'm kind of tucking it in, getting it in there enough, just far enough until I can make sure I use my T-square ruler. And I'm not worried about it being super straight, but that one was definitely crooked, so I'm glad that I used that. And when I inked my edges, I am inking 3 different sides of all the pattern papers so that when they meet in the middle, they are not inked. So it just kind of helps your double page layouts if you don't ink the inside edges. It kind of just helps with the flow of them. And I'm using my black Close to My Heart ink, but any black ink would work just fine. And these are the photos, so they're on the very left hand side. You can see that is basically going to be my title. And I think it says every day is a fashion show and the world is my runway or something like that. And these are just a bunch of selfies of my daughter. She takes the best selfies. I don't get as many anymore now that she's not in school and, you know, now she has a life and work. I kind of miss getting all those cool selfies because they are so much fun to scrapbook. But so I just took some of these selfies and I cut them, and I really like having that as a title. One thing I'm looking at here is that border sticker says, let me look right here, real style is never right or wrong. It's a matter of being yourself on purpose. And I really wanted to add that on here, but I didn't know how to put it on here, being this is a double page layout. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it, and it doesn't end up making it on the layout. If this collection is still available, I will leave a link to it below as well. I did recently find a 6x6 paper pad of this collection in Tuesday morning. Excuse me. So you can check there, but I have not seen the full collection at Tuesday morning. But you never know what they'll be getting in. But I will leave a link if I can find it below. And also there will be links to all of the other videos by these wonderful ladies. This is such a fun hop. There's so many videos. And yeah, and don't forget to check out Moira's and find out more. Maybe the other ladies know more about the contest. I should probably pay more attention. Kind of like I'm in school. I don't pay a lot of attention, right? Anyways, I'm playing around now, and this layout, this double page layout, is going to surprise me a little bit. When I do double pages, I do try to keep the rule of thirds in mind, but not necessarily 3, more of evens and odds. So it's always good to have an odd number of clusters, but this layout, I'm going to end up with just 3, and it's kind of surprising because I usually go like up and down across the double pages to kind of help the flow of your eye. But this one, and I am somewhat following the sketch, but a lot of times with sketches, I use sketches as a start off point, and then once I get my papers down and my photos down, I kind of go off on my own. I feel like you should really try using sketches to, you know, if you feel comfortable and only want to copy the sketch perfectly, that is totally okay. That's why they are there. But if you see a sketch and you find inspiration from it and want to do other things, then give it a try as well, because like I said, most of the time use sketches just for a place to know where to put papers and my photos. I think these photos go absolutely beautifully with these this pattern paper as well. So I'm just working on this cluster on the left hand side. I wasn't really sure what all I wanted to add. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on this cluster in the top. It's kind of in the middle of the layout, I guess, since it's a double page. And I had that ephemera piece. I can't read what it says from here. But I thought, you know, I never really think about using these tabs or these tags, and it needed a little bit of that blue color up here because of the border along the bottom. So I decided to pull out that little tab piece there that was also part of the ephemera, and I put it down there and I tried it, and it turned out really good. At this point, so far in the left cluster and this cluster, I have not added foam tape to anything, and for me, that's really different because I almost always use foam tape, but I kind of just I thought, I don't need to this time. And I love how the layout turns out. You will see there is a little bit of dimension, but when I go to work on the very right-hand cluster, I am a little bit like wishing that I would have added some foam tape, but that's okay. I wanted to add some of these flowers. That's one thing I will say I'm a little tad bit disappointed with, is that there's not a lot of extra of these flowers. You could take that pattern paper and fussy cut a bunch of the flowers out, but since it was already on my background, I didn't want to, and I wasn't really in the mood to fussy cut, but I do wish that they had more flowers. I don't know if the ephemera had any flowers in it. Maybe there was a second pack. I know a lot of times there's a couple different ephemera packs anymore. So maybe it had more flowers in it. I don't know. But even the sticker sheets. Oh, sorry for my phone. My daughter's freaking out about people buying things in the stores. So even the sticker sheet really only had a couple tiny flowers, and the ones that it had on there didn't really go with this layout. So when I was working with this cluster over here, again, I thought instead of just gluing things down, I'm going to look to see if there is a, you know, tag or border thing that I could use. And so I used that black tag, and I thought that that really kind of gave a place for the rest of my elements in this cluster to sit. And here, this is where I really wish that I had used some foam tape, but I'm going to make it work. And then I was looking, and I was kind of not really sure what else to add to this layout because the background papers were so busy. Even though there is white cardstock in the background, that's going to make me struggle just a tiny bit, but I'm going to make it work. I decided to use a couple of these circle stickers because I used a couple of circle stickers on the very left-hand side, and that really worked out. Then I was thinking brads. So I have a little drawer here, and oh no, at first I was thinking flowers, but they were right next to my brads. And then ironically enough, I believe these are really old Doodlebug brads, but they're white flowers with like a rhinestone center. And I found those and I was like, oh yes, that's perfect. So I'm going to put one of those in each of the clusters, and I really like the way that it looks. I am going to try a couple of these banner stickers here, but I didn't do those because I felt like it covered up the black part of that tag that I had tucked underneath everything to start the cluster off with, and I didn't want that to be completely covered up, so I'm going to give up on those. And then I'm going to go back to working on my brads. And again, I'm just adding one in each different cluster, and I know I kind of do it the naughty way. I just take my pokey tool and just push it through. I make sure my fingers are nowhere near where it's going to go through, so I'm not worried about it. And then I had this washi tape that I've been using. If you are new to my channel, I'm not a washi tape fan. I'm just, if I use it, it's just to either hold die cuts down so I can die cut them or things like that. But when I saw this one, I thought, hey, this black goes really well with this collection. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this a try, but I didn't want the full piece of black washi tape. I thought it was just a little too big. And I didn't want to cut the washi tape down to use because I was afraid I wouldn't get it straight enough. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my cat doesn't like me to ever close any doors. It freaks him out. So, and I had to close the doors because you all know that all the kids are home now. So anyways, I didn't want to cut the washi tape because I didn't want to worry about getting it straight enough. So I tried picking up this pink powder paper, and luckily I didn't glue too close to the top, so I just gently tucked underneath. I kind of folded the paper. You might have seen me do it. I kind of slightly folded the paper and tucked the washi tape underneath there, and I really like how that turned out. I feel like that black just kind of adds a little pop to the layout, and since there's kind of black in all the clusters, it just, you know, goes even better. So now what I'm going to add is some of my peel-offs, and there is a link below to these. I love these. These are my favorite thing. I have a link below, and I have a What Is It Wednesday video talking all about these. The only thing I will warn you is she is located in another country, so shipping can be a lot, but every time I hear about free shipping, because quite often, about every few months, she will have a free shipping with like an order of 20 peel-offs or whatever. So I will let you know if I hear about that shipping deal, but these are the greatest little thing. They are just these little circle stickers, not circles, strips. These are just little I don't even know. I tried, right? They're just little line stickers. Let's call them that. And they add the greatest little touch. And I am going to hold up the layout or one part of the layout when I'm done. This is kind of a white glittery, no, it's not even white. It's kind of more of a clear glitter color. And they are not a full 12 inches, you can see, but I've never had a problem nestling them up to each other to make the full 12 inches because you can't even tell most of the time. So you can see here, I'm just adding the second one, and there's different sizes. So I do, like I was going to say, I'm going to hold up one of the layouts up closer so you can kind of see the sparkliness, and they have all different colors from pink to red to white to glitter to everything. So trying to show you there the little added sparkly it gives. In person you can definitely tell, and in the in-shot photos you can kind of see up close in one of them. And at this point I still felt like the layout just didn't have, it was missing something. And I didn't want to add any more ephemera pieces. There wasn't the type of ephemera that I wanted. So I remembered I had these vellum butterflies. I punched these out a long time ago. I was working on a project where I had leftover vellum. And instead of just getting rid of the vellum, I decided to go ahead and punch a bunch of different shapes. And then I put all these shapes in a little drawer. Well, they've gone for a few different places now, but for a while there I was thinking I'm never going to get these used up, but I pulled them out to use on this layout, and they went perfect, and it was like the finishing perfect touch that I needed. So, and I'm going to talk about this here. I am adding a small piece of foam tape behind the wings. When I put butterflies on a layout, I almost always add some foam tape behind the wings and glue down the body flat to the page, and that just gives your butterflies a little bit of movement, and they're not all just flat to the page. And so it just kind of helps with the flow of your layout, and it just looks really good all the time. And I was afraid adding that foam tape that it would make you'd be able to see it, but in all honesty, you barely even notice the foam tape behind that vellum. It is a thicker type of vellum, and I don't even know where I got it. It came in like this kit of mine, so I don't have no idea what type it is, but it is a thicker type vellum. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about, but any vellum should work. So if you have scraps left over of something like that, I say punch out some shapes and see if you can get them used either on a card or on a layout. And to, of course, add a little something extra to these butterflies, I am taking some pink glitter. I want to say that these are by Close to My Heart. If you're new to my channel, I do have a video on how I organize my enamel dots and my glitter gems like these. Love it. I probably would have never found these glitter gems in the way I used to have them stored. I used to have basically all of my enamel shapes and things like that, rhinestones, all stored in a drawer together by color, but it never really worked out. So I added 2 to each butterfly, and I liked that. And so then I thought maybe I would go for adding just a little something else, a little other gem. And first I had these little pink ones, but I didn't really like those. I don't know what it was about them. I thought that, honestly, I thought they were too big. And I knew I had some white ones that were sparkly, the one bottom one's there. But then I saw this top piece, and I had literally 3 left of these gems, and I thought, I'm going to try these, get these used up. And sure enough, I put them down. In this top cluster, I really kind of struggle with where I want them to go, but I love it in the end. This page I'm super happy with, so I hope you guys will play along. You can see there the butterfly and how you can't even really notice that foam tape, especially if I hadn't pointed it out just now. I mean, but there you can kind of see a little bit of that peel off. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please follow the other links below and have a great day. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching. Bye.